warriors chasing gold. This game's ours, it's ours to hold. One shot left, one play to run. Make it count under the setting sun. It's game time grind. All or nothing on the line. Push through the pain. Leave it all in the rain. It's game time grind. Victory's ours to find. Victory's ours to find. It's game time grind. Victory's ours to find. Victory's ours to find. Victory's ours to find.
What's up? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Game Time Grind here on the 4th and 10U. I'm your host, Ali the Persian. We got Steve and Mystic up in here. What is up, gentlemen?
Yo, what's up? It's another great day.
Definitely. Mystic may be muted as
What?
he is cooking right now.
Don't worry,
What is
I'll be here off and on. Don't worry, I'll be here, folks. Don't you worry.
Yeah,
Got
don't
a
worry.
little, cooking in the kitchen going on, but I'm doing great. How's everyone else?
Very well. Mystic, I must say, we have a special person in the chat who's very well known for cooking, folks. In fact, he has an apron that you can get at the TFTGnetwork.com store. Okay. So shout out to my man Lewis. What is up? He says Michigan coach was falsely accused. What are your all thoughts? Was he really falsely accused? Because if he's falsely accused, then why did he plea out? That is my question. So we will talk about that today. We'll be talking about finally, after years since the last one, feels like forever. Ohio State finally has a scandal. Will it affect college or any type of sport at Ohio State? Let's talk about it. We'll talk about that. And we're going to talk about running backs and quarterbacks at the combine. Definitely. We didn't get to talk about that last episode. I promised you we would. So we'll definitely talk about that. But before we get started, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you're brand new. Turn on the notification bell, right? Come over to @4th and 10U. That's where you need to come over. Follow us over there. Once we get over 100 people watching, or 100 followers, we're going to have some very cool giveaways. A buddy of mine has a really cool business that he runs that I'm partnering with, and there's some really cool stuff that we're going to be giving away. So stay tuned on that. So, gentlemen, a lot of news in college football. College football you could say, is back already, right? Hasn't even felt like it's been like a month and a half. Basically a month and a half, and we're already saying it's back. Spring practices have already started. I got to see Jeremiah Smith, and he looks beastly as ever. Julian Sain at Ohio State looks decent. Looks like he grew up a little bit, got a little bit older, he's running that facial hair. Kind of back when do you guys remember there was a time when what's his name? Joe Burrow got some facial hair going. You guys remember that? Joe Burrow? You know the look I'm talking about when he had the facial hair going?
I don't remember, actually.
I think I don't remember. All right. Well, he's kind of got that kind of look going. It's kind of interesting. So we'll see what happens with him. I'm expecting him to be one of the top two QBs actually this year. It's going to be very fascinating what he does technically, because it'll be his third year. Third year at Ohio State. So it'll be very interesting. I think he's going to put it all on the field. In addition, I'm really excited to see what Chris Henry Jr. does. Chris Henry Jr., he's 6'6", wide receiver, arguably the top receiver in this recruiting class. And it'll be very interesting what he does. He looks like he has the part. If you ever see him, he's very towering. In fact, I want to say he's taller than Jeremiah Smith. So it'll be very interesting. Each week until we get to our college football season, I want to shout out to a different team and what they got going on. So I wanted to start off with Ohio State, the best team. They are the best team to me, but you guys can like who you want. So college football, spring practices already going. What do you guys think? You excited?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. I'm going to see I think I'm going to do a shout out to some MAC teams next week. So stay tuned for that. What else is going on in college football? I know there's the scandals, which we'll talk about here momentarily. There's this talk about $40 million roster. What do you guys think about this? $40 million? Really? Are we at that point? Why don't they just make it 200? What is the NFL cap right now? Why don't we just match it?
Yeah, I mean, they're eventually going to have to set a cap. We talked about this, and you got it right there, Lewis. USF playoff bound. You heard it here first.
USF, maybe we'll see. We will see.
Yeah, $40 million, like a cap situation. That's kind of crazy. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It'll be very, very interesting. With this $40 million roster, it just seems like the NIL is just getting crazier and crazier. We'll have to see what happens, though. I'm really kind of cautious when it comes to the NIL and where it's going. I don't want it to really ruin the game. And, I'm kind of worried about that. But then again, it kind of, when you're paying players, you have a higher chance of signing anybody you want. Almost, right? We'll say hypothetically. So I mean, it's kind of cool at the same time. So that's what I think. What else is going on? Oh, here's some big news. What do you guys think? This Matt Patricia, highest paid college football assistant in college history, defensive coordinator of Ohio State.
I mean, it just shows when you can't make it as a head coach in the NFL, you sure can make it as a coordinator in college, because, man, that man is getting paid.
Yeah, he's getting this year. Oh, it says Matt Patricia's contract extension with Ohio State is a new 3-year deal through the 2028 season that will pay him $3.75 million in year one. And then $3.85 million each in years 2 and 3. That's a lot of money as an assistant. But I know.
The money.
Say what? Say that again.
I said, "Show me the money."
Show you the money. Yeah.
We talk about this being, not an Ohio State, show, but I'm hearing a whole lot of Ohio State talk going on over here.
I know, man. We were in the news, so that's why we're talking about it.
No, for all the wrong reasons. Oh,
is it though? I mean, it's nothing you haven't seen before, and it doesn't really affect the athletic department. I'll get into that momentarily, but the reason I want to talk about Matt Patricia is because I think the reason they paid him highest paid, really, for me, is the fact that they're grooming him to maybe the next guy at Ohio State. And even if he's not the next guy at Ohio State, let's say Ryan Day's still there, right? he's the top guy to go after in college football as a head coach. Let's just be real at this point. The guy had arguably one of the top defenses in year one. Imagine what he's going to do in year two. I think he's definitely a guy to watch and could virtually land anywhere when it comes to a big program willing to pay the money. I think it'll happen. What do you think?
I mean, to be honest, and I don't think I've even talked to you about this. I'm surprised he wasn't already picked up with the coaching vacancies that came free this year, right? Like, maybe because he's just still kind of fresh at Ohio State or whatever, but like, I'm surprised nobody kicked that can. Like, I'm happy that I got who I got at USF, but like, I'm kind of surprised.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's actually talk about that, Steve. Rumors have it that Penn State kicked down the door and he said no, right? Rumors have it that other teams knocked on the door and he said no. For me, that means one of two things. It means either he's not ready to be the head coach yet, like he's personally just not ready to go back to that yet. Or, and I think it's more likely this, I heard his family really loves it at Ohio State. I heard they really loved it there. They loved the fans. They loved the experience. And plus, you're somewhere where the whole fan base loves you. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to just want to walk away from that. And let alone you had such, a really good season. You want to see what you can back it up with in year two. Especially when it's a year that both Julian Sayin and Jeremiah Smith are going to put it all on the field because it's, technically they're playing for their NFL career now, at this point, being the third year that they're in. I think they liked it at Ohio State that much that they want to see what happens, let alone there's always been a rumor that Ryan Day is, one step ready to go to the NFL because everybody wants him. Right. I've heard that every year since he kind of hit the scene. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But those are my thoughts on why I think he stayed. Plus, they paid him a shit ton of money.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure that money didn't play any in that conversation at all.
Yeah, but you know very well, if everybody's offering the same amount of money, then it goes to the other stuff. You know that. So I don't know if anybody else was offering him the $3.5 million just to be an assistant head coach. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody, or $3.75 million. I don't think anyone else was offering that high. But we'll see. We will see here what happens. Let me just see if there's any other news before we get into the scandals. I don't believe there is. I just wanted to check here real quick. Wow, I guess Brian Kelly is still shocked he was fired at LSU for Lane Kiffin. That's kind of interesting. Oh, may he rest in peace. Lou Holtz passed away. That was kind of sad. Did you guys see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, March 5th, he passed away. It's kind of funny. Not really funny, but yeah, it is kind of funny. I'm just going to go and say it. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's this little rivalry kind of picking up between Notre Dame and Ohio State, right? And the last couple of years, Lou Holtz has kind of called out Ryan Day, and they've had this go back and forth bickering for the last couple of years. So the day he passed away, there was images people were sharing of him, and especially in his younger years when he was a coach and whatnot. And one of the first photos that they put out was him in an Ohio State Letterman's jacket. I thought it was hilarious because now people forget, he was there. So I just thought it was kind of funny, especially since the fact there's this little slight rivalry going on with Notre Dame. So I thought that was funny. But no, shout out to the man. The man was legendary. He had some of the most legendary Notre Dame teams. He got to coach some of the best. Overall, I think he was a great coach. Good old fashioned Midwest kind of guy. I think that's something to really consider when it comes to Lou Holtz and respect to the man. What do you think, Mystic? Mystic must be stirring the sauce.
I'm getting ready to make sauce. I think you're spot on.
Stirring the sauce.
No, he was one of those guys. Like, I didn't see a whole lot of him. Obviously, as I'm, on the younger side of things compared to, the generation that he was a part of. But I knew of him, remembered hearing about him, and obviously, that he is a part of college football. The history that it is. So, always sad when you lose an historic piece to any sport or the overall history of something that is, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, continue, sir. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just agreeing with you. Go ahead. He may have dropped his phone in the spaghetti sauce, maybe. What do you think, Steve? What do you think about Lou Holtz?
Yeah, I mean, the name's the name, right? Like, the guy is, I want to say a legend, because that's kind of crazy, but like, he's a name in college. He's been a name in college. Like, it's sad when somebody of notoriety, especially like in any form of like, not just sports but media in general, passes away, right? Like, every year they do that tally of famous people that pass away. Like, the sport lost somebody who was great for the sport.
And just to be clear, because Michael K is correct, he's technically not a Midwest guy, but I feel that he had that Midwest coach type of mentality, primarily because he spent most of his career at Notre Dame, places like Minnesota. He was at Ohio State, in areas like that. And because of that, I kind of feel like he has that type of mentality with his coaching style and whatnot. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off, Steve. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that was it. Like, it's just, like I said, it's sad when you lose somebody was such an important piece of history. So
yeah. And then another thing about Lou Holtz, everybody knows him for Notre Dame. He was actually a coach at Arkansas for a bit as well. He had 7 years there as a Razorback, compiled a 60-21-2 record and reached 6 bowl games. So very interesting. It was just, his whole career is just very, very interesting. To me, he'll go down as one of the most legendary coaches. So shout out to Lou Holtz. I'm trying to find it, but there was somebody put out a list of all the different head coaches that are from like the Canton, like Western Ohio area, like that area near Canton. And the list was kind of like ridiculous. Let me see if I can find it. It was very interesting. Let me see here. All right, here we go. But looking at like, let me find this list here. I had it somewhere. I was like, unbelievable the amount of football coaches that are from that area. Let's see here. I'll have to find it, Steve. But it's ridiculous the amount. Oh, here it is. So you have guys like Paul Brown, Woody Hayes, Don Shula. Yes, the famous Don Shula is from Ohio. Chuck Knoll, Jim Tressel, Urban Meyer. Who else do you have in that area? There's even more. You have guys like Bo Schembelker, who was I believe he was a Michigan coach. Lou Holtz was from Ohio. Era, and I can never say this guy's name right. It's Era Parshigian. Who else? Les Miles is from that area. You have all these coaches that are from that area. It's ridiculous. It's like a coaching tree from that one area of Ohio. It's nuts. So I just thought that was very impressive. All right, let's get into this scandal. I want to talk more about the scandal at Ohio State to get some clarification and as well as give some clarification. So if you didn't know, and let me bring this up. Right here. Here we go. Okay. So if you didn't know what happened over the weekend, it was announced that Walter Ted Carter Jr. abruptly resigned as president of Ohio State University on March 9th, 2026. Carter admitted to the university, he came out himself and informed the university of this, the board of trustees, that he had an inappropriate relationship with a woman who was seeking access to public resources to help her business ventures. The board helped close the door. The board held a closed door executive session for about 3 hours before accepting his resignation. Maybe they had to look at the legality of everything, make sure they had someone maybe to replace him temporarily. They had to discuss it out. I have to give it to the guy. The guy actually, admitted what happened, that he had the inappropriate relationship. And if you don't understand what it means, like in purpose of her business ventures, essentially it's to benefit her business. That's what she was trying to get access to. What do you think about that, Steve? Is this as bad as what, let's say, Sharon Moore or the guy from Michigan State who had the inappropriate relationships? I don't think this is as bad. I think it's bad, but not as that bad. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think any of it is bad when it comes to, like, this is their personal business. The only reason any of this matters is because they're breaking a school rule.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? The clause.
Ethics.
The ethics clause, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the only reason any of this matters. Outside of that, nobody would care. But that's the only reason it matters. Like, what people do in their homes is what people do in their homes. Nobody would even know if he hadn't come forward, unless he might have gotten caught eventually. But, like, also, again, he's getting caught in the what should be the confines of his own home, and he did what he felt he needed to come forward to not bring as much drama to the school, even though by just a proxy he brought some drama to the school.
Yeah. I don't know if he has, like, if he's already, married and has kids. I don't know if any of that part of it. So it could be really bad, to be honest. But what I'm talking about is it's not like the Sharon Moore situation, what they have going on there, where I've been told that Sharon Moore had several relationships going at the same time. It's not something like that. You know what I mean? It's bad, but not that bad. So just to give you a little bit more information, the reports identified the woman as Chrysantha Vlachos, a entrepreneur and host of the Call Out podcast. Her podcast focuses on helping military veterans find careers in industries like energy and infrastructure. Well, not to make a bad joke, but yeah, I'm going to make a bad joke. She was really looking to boost her career or business by gaining access, I guess, in some kind of way. Oh, shout out to Joe Rist with the $3 donation. Thank you, sir. Jeffrey Dahmer was also from that area. There's a lot of people there. There's one, from my understanding, there's some people that was involved in 9/11 that learned how to fly airplanes right here in the Treasure Coast area, from what I understand. That's from my understanding. So who knows? Actually, Michael K., I have made several good jokes. You've even laughed at quite a few of them. Now, one thing is for sure, maybe I'm not the best at laying jokes out like you are, but who knows?
Damn,
No,
that's
at least I
cold-blooded.
try. All right. What else can I tell you about this situation? So she received special access to Ohio State leadership. Yeah, we know what kind of access that was. She may have gained institutional support or connections to advance her private business. And also, university resources may have been used inappropriately. This isn't good. That part of it is not good, where they're using the university in resources and
Well, at least the dude came. Sorry, at least the dude came out and stopped it before it got worse than what it could have been. Like that could have turned into some bad stuff.
yeah. So why it became a major scandal, just so you know, several factors made the situation blow up quickly. One, Ohio State is a public university funded partially by taxpayers. So any perceived misuse of resources is taken very seriously because of that. The ethics violation that Steve already mentioned, and he admitted that he allowed inappropriate access to the Ohio State leadership. So that's kind of like the biggest thing. So far, from my understanding, there's no impact on Ohio State athletics. And the question is, well, why is the sports media even covering it? Well, we have one of the largest athletic departments in the country. The president has oversight over athletic budgets and leadership. It also comes during a major period of change in college athletics. I don't know if you saw recently, I believe Donald Trump had a meeting, or not, it was a meeting or it was a dinner or something that he had that had to do with college sports. I saw it on my timeline or whatever. But they discussed college sports and the state of college sports today and everything. So let's just say the NCAA and college, not just college football, but college sports in general, there's a big magnifying glass on it right now. So that everyone's watching everything and critiquing. So we'll see what happens. Any other thoughts on the Ohio State scandal? Do you think it's a scandal? Is it even worth even talking about?
I don't think it's, to be honest, I don't think it's a scandal or really that much worth talking about, because again, like, it's something that happened in the shelter, should have been the shelter of this man's own home. Unfortunately, when you step forward to announce that to your school or business or any of that stuff, it's going to come out no matter how you plan to try and take care of it. So it's, these kinds of things happen. I'm sure there will be some other story which always comes out. There's always like a second part of the story where like what they were doing with that money or whatever they were getting out of the school finances, and that's a story I'll tell you later about something that happened. But that's always the crazy part of the story. What did
That's
they
what
do
I
with
want to
those
know. Did
finances?
she get money out of this? And did the money go to those military veterans she said that she's helping? That's what I'm more worried about. I'd rather, if she's siphoning money out of us, I want to know if it's going to the veterans that you say that you're trying to promote and get them hired and get them in these leading industries. Please tell me it went to them. So that's where I'm at. But I do kind of agree with you. That's what I think makes it really bad when you find those things out. All right. Final thoughts on Ohio State scandal. Mystic, do you have anything to add to it or nothing at all?
No, I'm good. It's a very interesting thing, but yeah, I think to your point, it's not awesome. It's not as crazy of a situation like we talked about this other guy having all these relationships and just it could have been so much worse.
Oh yeah, it could have definitely been so much worse for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. I know there's the Sharon Moore thing that we can talk about and here just for the heck of it, because being a Michigan hater and all. Yep, Michigan gets hit again. Not so much Michigan, but it has to do with Michigan. Obviously, former Michigan coach Sharon Moore reaches a plea deal Fired Michigan Wolverines head coach Sharon Moore has reached a plea deal stemming from an incident with a former staff member in early December. Prosecutors have agreed to drop charges of felony home invasion and misdemeanor counts of stalking and breaking and entering against Moore. Instead, the former Michigan coach will plead no contest to 2 misdemeanors. Essentially, Moore, just to give you some background, Moore was fired in December for allegedly having an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. After being informed of his firing, he allegedly went to the staffer's house and threatened her, prompting the felony home invasion charge. He had previously denied any wrongdoing. So here's my question, right? So obviously they gave him 2 misdemeanors. I understand it has something to do with the telecommunication stuff, the weird stuff that he was doing. So my question to you guys is, if you have claimed you didn't do anything wrong and that you're innocent, why the hell are you pleading out? Why don't you sit and fight it?
Got him.
Well, you and I had a conversation about this before we started. Remember the telecommunications part of that. As far as anybody knows, he said something crazy out of fear and anger on that message or whatever it is that they got him on, and it put him in a light where it might have made things difficult in a trial situation. So I do think we should probably give him the benefit of the doubt that this wouldn't be the first time that like people have lied about crazy things because they were angry or scared. Like, I'm sure he was pissed. I'm sure, like any other human, he let his anger get to the best of him in the situation where he just lost what was probably his dream job, right? And all because he made a terrible decision. It might have affected his marriage. Like, we don't know what happened in that man's head. But I do think the reason for the plea was, 1, to get it over with and be done with it, and 2, we don't know, though they didn't have evidence to prove that he threatened suicide in her home. There was probably enough evidence laid there that they could have brought some real questions to it.
Very good point. Good point. What are your thoughts, Mystic?
I think I'm with you. I think if you're, not guilty, as you say in the beginning, then you won't be taking a plea deal. But I think there's just so much evidence against this guy and what he did, and
So go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There's not really a good way for him to kind of. There was no way this dude was getting out of the situation unscathed. I'd say this was the best possible scenario for him based on his level of stupidity. Like, oh my God. But yeah, I think also it could have been a hell of a lot worse if he stuck to the whole "I didn't do anything" based on everything they had.
Yeah. Yep. For me, look, I know I said, why the hell are you pleading out if you're innocent, right? I know I said that. But Steve does make a good point. There are situations where you may be innocent, but you don't have all of the proof to show that you're innocent yet. You know what I mean? So are you going to go through the trouble of going through this big trial and everything? And, the evidence, it makes it like a 50-50 shot. It's not definitive and it's not in your favor. Maybe you still plea out and everything. And he's still going to get sentenced for those misdemeanors still. So we'll see what that involves. But if I remember, I think we were doing a show when a lot of this stuff was going down. I think, if you guys remember, in December, I think there was a lot of news that happened all at once as we're doing a show, I think. And with all of that going down, how much of it do they not have proof of? That's what my question is. Why did they make a deal? It makes me, because there was a lot of going back and forth between the accuser and the person that he had the inappropriate relationship with. So, there was rumors that she didn't want to, be involved in this. She was forced to do things. Some people said that. Some people said, no, it's the other. And, maybe, maybe you're right. Maybe they just don't have enough evidence, or let alone maybe he's innocent. And you're innocent until you're proven guilty, right? So as of right now, we seem that the charges were dropped. Technically, he's not guilty of that, but he did plead in the other charges, so he's guilty of those charges as of right now. So we will see. What do you guys think happens next for Sherrone Moore? Does he have a career in college football ever again?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Interesting. What do you think, Mystic?
I think that I just finished making dinner, and I'm dishing up dinner.
Well,
that's what I think. I'm sorry. Repeat the question.
Man, I've been tossing you ingredients. You just don't know how to cook it. That's
yeah.
all.
See, exactly.
So, essentially, Sherrone Moore, right? We'll say that he's innocent of the charges that were dropped, right? Because they were dropped, and
absolutely
he was never really proven guilty because they were dropped. But he is technically guilty with what he pleaded into, right?
100%.
So that being said, my question is, does he coach in college football ever again?
I don't think so.
And I have to I'm kind of with you on that, Mystic, but I think he does in the end. And I think it's not going to be for any big major program. It's going to be really small. Well, it's going to be a really small school, maybe a MAC team, maybe one of these Sunbelt teams, something. It'll be really small, school, to be honest. And the reason I say that is because if you go back, the issues with Sherrone Moore are not just this instance with him being fired and the home invasion and the texts and the supposable threats that he supposedly made and stuff. It's not just that, right? We're also looking at a guy that went through an NCAA scandal because of the sign stealing scandal, right? He's associated with Jim Harbaugh. Harbaugh. Is it Jim or John? I always mix the two up.
Jim,
thank you. He's associated with Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh has a whole litany of issues with the NCAA of breaking rules, sign stealing, lying, all this stuff going on, right? The whole cheating thing. Sherrone Moore is connected to that. Sherrone Moore has been rumored to be the guy heading that whole thing up, right? So because of all these different things, I kind of think that he's kind of, I don't want to say like blacklisted, but he's kind of like has a black fat flag over him. Like, oh no, we can't.
Probably be required to go through, probably to show that, hey, you've changed, you become a better person, your character's improved, type of thing. And then you'll see one of these lesser schools take a chance on him.
I think it's going to be at least a year. I think it's going to be at least a year. That's what I'm going with.
I can see that.
So
I'll be honest with you. I think in a year's time, we won't even remember that this whole situation went on with this email. Like, I don't think it matters as much as I think it sounds like it does, because of just the realm we're in right now. This isn't a Me Too movement thing, right? Like, it's not a big thing that's just insane. Like, had he been proven that he broke into her home and did all of that, maybe, but I think the fact that he was acquitted and that it seemingly isn't what people are trying to make it sound that it was. I do think you're right that he'll be at a smaller school, maybe even like an HBCU or something like that.
Yeah,
but
I can see that.
but and it won't be for another year or two because I do think he mentally might need to take some time and figure his own stuff out because this is a lot to put into somebody
Oh yeah.
mentally. Rather you right or wrong, did it or didn't do it or whatever. Like it's just mentally very taxing. So it's probably a year or two before he
Mhm.
gets back into coaching. But I do think he'll coach again.
Now, there's one caveat to this. There's one caveat to this. Does the NCAA want to stick their nose into it? That's the question. So, because the NCAA has been taking shots left and right because a lot of people feel that they lost their spine. They over penalized smaller schools and, kissed butt to Michigan. A lot of people accuse them of that. My question is, do they stick their nose in this now that he's not part of the Michigan program? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like now that they've moved on and fired him, will they stick their nose in it somehow and add to it? I do agree with you 100%, Steve, that this is not really something we'd probably remember a year from now. In fact, I almost forgot about it until it popped up in the news. I'm not going to lie. But I do think that this is something we will remember with different factors when it comes to the NCAA, because I do think the NCAA as a whole, not trying to really change the subject, but it is leading to that. I do think the NCAA as a whole is starting to be, it's coming to an end. I think we're going to start seeing a new entity take over college sports. They need it. I personally think. So that's why I think this will come about, and we'll look at it and we'll remember it because of that, more of that stuff, but not so much of the actual situation he was being accused of. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, maybe, I don't know. It is what it is.
I'm actually with you. Actually, on that, Ollie, 100%. I think there does need to be, some changes. People say change isn't always good. I kind of disagree. I think sometimes change is needed for people to find entities to find the best versions of themselves.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts on Sharon Moore before we move on to the real action?
No, sir.
All right.
Nope.
Let everyone hit the like button. Let's get started. We're going to talk about the combine, the two positions we didn't really talk about last week, quarterbacks and running backs, right? Exciting stuff. I mentioned, Drew Aller looked good throwing the ball. Kind of surprised me. Made his deep ball looks very nice, man. And even though not every single one of his balls were caught downfield, they were like perfect passes. An NFL receiver was there, they would have caught that no problem. You know what I'm saying? His release looks really good. He made it look super easy, like he's not putting any effort into throwing his passes. So that was kind of interesting. Taylor Green, fastest quarterback, bro, a 4.36. It's ridiculous.
Not just fastest, the most athletic in general quarterback in combine history. He didn't just break the 40, he broke the high jump as well, the vertical.
43.5 inches.
Yep.
Had an 11 foot 2-inch broad jump. Yeah. This guy's 6'6" too. He looks
Athletic
so tall.
short.
Even though he's 6'6", like he's already tall, but like watching him on TV, he looks even taller than 6'6".
I made a joke. I made a joke to my buddy during the combine. I was watching I was on the phone with him during the quarterback thing.
Mhm.
I was like, why do Taylor Green and Drew Aller look like they're babysitting a bunch of high school kids? They looked like chaperones because they were like everybody but them is basically 6'1" or shorter.
Mm. Yeah, it was very, very interesting. What was there any other quarterbacks that stood out to you guys? Like anybody else?
Ty Simpson.
Ty Simpson?
Yeah, so initially he didn't stand out, and I went back and rewatched it a couple days later, and then I watched it again today just to refresh myself. He has some really nice touch and anticipation on his throws. Now, you saw them balls hang in the air a little bit. when they started doing the deep passing.
Mhm.
But he's got some decent anticipation and accuracy. You can see it.
Interesting. What did you guys think about Diego Pavia?
Meh.
Yeah. It was interesting. Did he I think he threw a pass to somebody. He didn't like the receiver and swapped the receiver out. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
think
was
it
kind
was
of
to Conception. I think it was. It was either him or CJ Daniels. It was one of the two.
yeah. It was interesting. I didn't really care for what I saw from him. But yeah, Taylor Green looks interesting. Drew Aller, like I said, his passes look smooth. Um, Tyson,
Ollie,
hmm,
I meant I know we're a college show, but did you read the chat?
no, what happened?
I think it's kind of a big football deal. The Ravens backed out, or either the Ravens or the Raiders backed out of the Crosby deal.
Shit, really? Medical reason. Okay, yeah. Well,
I
it's
know it's
football.
college, but it's
Yeah,
big.
yeah, it's kind of a big deal. Definitely.
Wow.
Listen. This is a college football show, but overall, we can talk pretty much any sports. It's not a big deal. But yeah, Max Crosby backing out of that deal, that was surprising. That is definitely surprising. I want to know what the medical really shows. I really want to know what it shows
Well,
because
remember, Crosby's had some knee and I believe a shoulder injury over the last few years, so it's not like
Mm,
he's some spring chicken.
mm. Do you think that Mike McDaniel talks to Jim Harbaugh and whispers in his ear? Because you know how much he loves Max Crosby.
I don't know, man. Like he's got to pass a physical. Like he failed the physical according to Diana Rossini.
Oh,
So
he failed it that bad.
yeah, yeah, he
Okay.
failed the physical.
Mm. That sucks. Sucks for the Raiders now. They're kind of stuck because he still is on a big money deal, isn't he?
Yes, and the Raiders had to absorb the $30 million in cap space they had just relieved.
Shit. That sucks. All right.
But sorry, I just that was crazy to me. Like the only other time I can think of a trade being like turned over was when Miami tried to trade that tight end like a few years ago. He was like our third tight end. I can't even remember his name at the second, but like we traded him and then they canceled the trade. It was like Mike McDaniel's first year with us. They canceled the trade because he failed the
Yeah.
physical.
Not Hafner. What was it? Sheehan.
No.
Sheehan. It was
Yeah,
Sheehan.
Sheehan.
Yeah. I remember.
Adam Sheen.
Adam Sheen. That's what it is. Sheen. Yeah. He had a weird like name like that. That's yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. We'll see what happens there. We can bring this back to the college realm though. Don't the Ravens have a higher draft pick this year? Or am I thinking of a different team? I thought they had a higher pick this year. Let me look that up.
I mean, the Raiders have the first pick, so
I know who the Raiders have.
Yes, the Ravens do have a higher pick. That because remember Lamar Jackson missed a lot of the season.
Yeah. Well, they traded a first round pick for what's his name, Max Crosby, right? And they're gonna get that back.
Yes. Yeah. So they get their number 14 pick back.
Number 14.
Yes.
Because I'm trying to see who they need an edge, right? That's what they need. Oh, there's some names to be looking at. That's something to look at. Edge. You know who would be really good in that defense, though? Yeah, he won't be there, though. He won't be there because he won't make it. Arvell Reese would look awesome as a Baltimore Raven. I don't know why. I just seeing him as a Baltimore Raven would be badass.
Yeah, but it's
I
such a
can see
different
that.
Baltimore Raven team now, though. Like, it's not Harbaugh.
That's true. That's
It's
true.
Jesse Minter, right?
Yeah,
So
I believe so. Yeah.
he's bringing that Charger defense over there. So I think they might go corner too because they lost some of their secondary pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think I'll clarify what I was saying. Arvell Reese as a Baltimore Raven when John Harbaugh was there. Yeah, that it makes complete sense. So, um,
You know, it'd be
So
nasty
you're
in that
telling me
defense
Arvell
too.
Reese to the Giants makes sense then?
That does.
yeah.
You know who would be nasty in that defense? Could you imagine Roquan Smith and Sonny Styles next to each other?
Oh shit. Damn.
Ooh, ooh.
Bro, I'm crossing my fingers, man, because Sonny Styles falls to us. We better pull the trigger. If we don't pull the trigger, I'm gonna start. It's gonna be really bad.
So the only
um,
fire Halfley chance?
not Halfley is Sullivan. I can't really say it's Halfley's fault because he's just the head coach.
True.
So I'll
True.
go
Fire
Sullivan.
Sully. All right. Yep. You're right. You're right. You got me.
That's what I would do.
But anyway, back to quarterbacks. You know who actually threw? He was super inconsistent, but threw a really nice deep ball. Since we're talking about Miami,
Mhm.
Carson Beck actually had a couple nice throws when he got in a rhythm in the short passes, which I expected. But then, like, he had one or two nice deep passes, and everything else started sailing. It's like the definition of that man's career. Totally inconsistent.
Yeah, I would agree with that. A lot of people are saying, speaking of Miami, a lot of people are thinking that Miami is going to move up the board and try to draft Carson Beck. What do you guys make of this? Well, I don't know why people are obsessed with Carson Beck. He really is a mid quarterback that looks flashy at times, in my opinion.
I'm sorry, but I don't think any of these quarterbacks really should be drafted above like the second, third round, personally. Besides Fernando, excuse me.
I'll fight somebody. I will literally fight somebody. And I don't care where you take him. If we take Carson Beck in the 7th round, I still might fight somebody.
I kind of agree with you, bro. I
Miami
agree.
did meet with him though. From the reports, though, they met with him and talked with him and all that stuff. So I wouldn't put it past him. I really wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me. And again, it would just reinforce the move that they just made with Willis. Let's just be honest.
You want to know a secret that, like, I learned this. It's not so much a secret, but it's kind of a secret because not a lot of people pay attention. Go look at the history of the people who any team talked to that's reported that they take the time to actually have deep conversations with. They're the guys that are almost never drafted by that team. And the
Makes sense.
reason for that is they're talking to those guys because they have questions about them that they want to get answered. Like,
Mm.
I'm filling my board out. This guy, I can't tell how really, like, if where I want him to fall to for him to be an option for me. Let me go talk to this guy and see what his mentals are. Or, hey, in these situations, I noticed you did this. Why is that? They look for that stuff, but it's almost never because they really want to draft him. But it's more of I can move him up or down on my board.
Mm. What did you guys think of Haynes King? He ran like a 4.46.
That kid is so raw. Like, so raw. He's like Sawyer
100%.
Robinson, right? I think Sawyer's a better not better athlete, but a better like he has a stronger arm, and I think he's a little and it's splitting hairs from like a developmental point. But Haynes
Yeah.
King, wasn't he? It was a big prospect at one time, wasn't he? When he came into college, I swear he was like a big prospect and just kind of fell off the face of the earth.
I think he was when he was at Texas A&M because if you remember, he spent 3 years I want to say he spent like 2 years at Texas A&M. Actually, no. He's been in college football for 6 years. He's 25 years old. Because he was at Texas A&M and Georgia Tech for 3 years apiece. Huh. They consider him a dual threat quarterback who displayed admirable resilience in becoming a productive, winning player after suffering through unmet expectations at Texas A&M. He's grit and guts passer, subpar footwork, mechanics. I have to look at him did he throw at the combine? Do you remember? I was just looking at his 40. I was like 4.46. That's not bad.
I don't think he threw, to be honest.
Okay.
If he did, I can't remember him. I think he might have done some of the small drills. I don't think he did the deep pass drill because he doesn't have an arm. Like the arm's not great. I guess I'll change the wording on raw. I didn't realize it had been that long. He just never developed.
Yeah. I gotcha. Any other quarterbacks before we move on to running backs? I'll take that as no.
Not really. Nussmeier continued to be Mr. Consistency, but nothing wowing. That arm is not good either.
I think Drew Aller, when he threw, I think people are now like, I don't want to say they're jumping. Oh, we got to go draft Drew Aller. But I think it did enough for people to say, okay, I need to see him in a full workout, or I need to see him at his pro day or whatever. You know what I mean? I think that's what it kind of did for him. Would you agree to that?
Mystic, you want to take that one first?
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, that's what I was concerned about. That's what I've been concerned about this whole time with him is, yeah, he had an off season. Coaching staff wasn't great, had the injury, but obviously the kid got himself healthy, got himself right, and looks like he can actually be the part at the next level, which is the last thing that, certain fan bases want if you're trying to get him in the middle rounds.
So you two know this privately, and I think I might have mentioned this on the show maybe once. Drew Aller's been my guy for 2 years.
Yep.
I wanted him last year. I was 100% 10 toes down, 2 fingers on the button, go get Drew Aller because I thought you could develop that. All those raw traits you can develop, and he's enough of an athlete that I'm not concerned about this day and age's need for athletic quarterbacks, right? Like that he has the arm, and it was noticeable during the combine. That arm, that ball was jumping out. It was like a jackrabbit ready to go. He has all the tools. He just needs to work on reading the field. That's it.
Yeah.
It's his only flaw.
I agree 100%, man. I think he has the tools to be a damn good quarterback in this league. He just has that flaw he needs to work on, and someone to really just help him develop, bro. Because I think he has all the talent. I think he definitely is mobile enough. He has a cannon of an arm. His arm talent's no problem. I agree with you 100%. So
you know who he would fit insanely well. I don't think they would do it, but and it's kind of funny. But do you know who he would fit? And I think would excel greatly with Green Bay.
I can see
he would
that.
replace Jordan Love in a heartbeat.
You know what's funny about that though? For the same reasons that you think he fits at Green Bay, I could argue that he fits in Miami based on who we have here.
Oh, yeah. I just don't know if we can develop him. That's only my question. I don't know enough about these coaches.
Well, our offensive coordinator, from my understanding, he was the guy that helped CJ Stroud have that hell of a rookie season in his first season. So I don't know.
But our quarterback coach is also the guy who Taylon Green had a fast start when he was at I think it was Boise. This is the
Mm.
guy who basically made Taylon Green leave Boise. He was the last quarterbacks coach he had there, or offensive coordinator he had there, and Taylon had a terrible season, and then he left and went to Arkansas.
Mm. We will see, man. I'll have to do a little bit more research there, but it'd be interesting to see him in Miami, to be honest. I would be down for that. Just because he's a different mold. He's not the type of quarterback we've had in a while. And I think he, with that talent, it's just hard to say no to. But let's talk about running backs. I'm really excited to talk about running backs. In my opinion, there really is only one running back that stood out to me. Mike Washington Jr. He was the guy I told you guys on our show. Watch out for this guy. He reminds people of Adrian Peterson, and I wasn't wrong. He had the fastest running back 40 at 4.33, 1.51 second split, 39-inch vertical jump, 10-foot 8-inch broad jump. To be honest, in the running back group, he was the biggest winner. His speed at 223 pounds. I think a lot of scouts are like, holy crap, I need some of that. And I do think that he's a true 3-down running back. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Mystic.
I think again, all these guys that we talked about prior to seeing these things just continued to prove what we thought about this class. I do think this is a very good, deep running back class. I think this guy continued just to show just that with his combine work.
You think this draft is a deep running back draft?
I do. I think there's. So I think when you talk about the top wide receivers to the bottom, I feel like there's a smaller gap than the top running backs to the bottom running backs in this draft. That makes
What do you?
sense?
Yeah, I somewhat. What do you think, Steve?
So I don't want to sound like the hater because I come off sounding like a hater when I say this. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that Jeremiah Love ran a 4.37 with his evasive skills. Like that was great for him, and seeing his dad upset that it was a 4.37 just really puts in, and even Jeremiah Love himself looking upset. Like you could see the work ethic in that family, right? And expectations. But from overall, I don't want to say Mystic's wrong because he's not wrong in what he's saying. I think he's just saying it in a way that sounds different than what he's trying to say. It's not that it's deep, it's that there's not a lot of variation in skill. Like it's Jeremiah and then a little bit of gap with Katron Allen, Nick Singleton, Washington, like those guys. And then there's another small gap, and it's the rest of the pack. But it's not like
Yes, thank you.
all these guys. It's not like there's like a handful of running backs that are the superstars and then nothing else. They're just a bunch of just random dudes. They're all just kind of decent players.
That's fair enough. For me, looking at the combine, and granted, like Jeremiah Love and Mike Washington did not do every drill that was out there. They didn't do the 20-yard or anything like that. So there's still some stuff to know what's what. But I would say Jeremiah Love and Mike Washington really kind of cemented themselves of where they're at. You know what I mean? We already know Jeremiah Love has all the talent in the world and has great speed and everything. I don't care if he wasn't the fastest, but he definitely has really good speed overall. You see what he can do on the field, right? Mike Washington, he's like that for me. Like he's definitely, in this case, he was the fastest. And he didn't run a lot of the other drills, but just watch his tape, bro. You can see he has it naturally. You know what I mean? So for me, I want to say Mike Washington and Jeremiah Love, they're like the top two running backs. But then when you look at guys like, and shout out to this guy because he was pretty fast, Claiborne, or even Seth McGowan out of what school is that? Kentucky, right? Those guys, they're good, but it didn't wow me. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. These two guys are kind of special, and then there's a whole bunch of guys that are all kind of the same and they don't have to be in any certain type of order. That's just how I look at it.
I will say if there's one running back that I think suffered from not being at the combine was Nick Singleton. I think he may have ran the second fastest 40. I think he was a 4.3 guy. Now, I don't know if he's going to try to do a pro day. I hope he does because we need to see that because I think he's faster than Katron Allen.
Isn't he still injured? I thought he's still injured.
He had an ankle injury. I don't know how long it's going to take.
Okay, so he might be able to run a 40 before the draft is what you're saying.
It's possible. I don't know. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't know if he's going to do a pro day. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't do a pro day, he's going to be a steal for somebody. I think I kind of mentioned that before. Like, he's one of those running backs that really performed but didn't get to perform for the combine and all of that, and is kind of underneath it all because Katron Allen was kind of popping off, and everybody's talking about Jeremiah Love and his running mate. So, and then now Mike Washington running that 4.33, right? So it's a name that's falling down the board because it's just the injury and not being able to perform and stuff like that.
Interesting. Any other thoughts, Mystic?
No, sir. Steve fixed my my word salad there, so I appreciate it.
Interesting. More NFL news. Actually, this is older news. Never mind. Giants are signing Greg Newsome II. I don't know if you guys saw that. Trying to see if there's any other news out there.
We got a little bit of time. Do you want to talk about how some of these, since we kind of talked about it a little bit with Baltimore, how this free agency might be affecting that top of the board right now?
Yeah, why don't you start us off? Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Giants are throwing a monkey wrench into a lot of things because people thought they might go safety. People thought they might go edge. Like, we all know the Raiders are going quarterback, but, like, is it possible the Giants trade out of that second overall pick? Because they just started loading up on everybody.
It's very possible. I mean, but let me ask you a question. So the Giants have what? The second overall pick? Is who they have? So. All right. So if they have the second overall,
the Giants, where to go? They have the 5th overall pick.
They have the 5th overall pick? Okay.
Yes.
So if they have the 5th overall pick and they move out of it, who's moving up? What is needed? Like, is someone going after a quarterback? And that's actually a question. Like, who's the number 2 overall quarterback in this draft?
Ty Simpson.
So you think Ty Simpson is the definite number 2?
Yes.
See, I'm not sold on Ty Simpson, man. Not at all. So who else needs quarterback? The Cardinals. Where are they drafting?
The Cardinals are 3.
All right, so they'll have a shot at quarterback. Who's not in the top 10 that
Do you
needs a
think
quarterback?
Pittsburgh,
Maybe.
now that Mike McCarthy's there, shoots up and tries to go and get his quarterback. Maybe Drew Aller. Could you imagine? There's no way that happens, but could
I
you
don't think that
imagine?
happens, bro. Late
That would
second,
be
maybe.
crazy.
But I still think right now he's a high third. Right now, I still have him as a high third.
Jacksonville, the Browns have 2 first-round picks. I forgot about that from the trade
Do
last
the
year.
Browns need a quarterback, or are they sold on running with Sanders?
I don't think they're sold. I don't think they're sold at all. But I also know they restructured Deshaun Watson again today. So I honestly think they're going to give Deshaun Watson a chance to win that job back once he's healthy, and that's going to be this year.
Here's one. Do the Jets take a quarterback even though they just traded for Geno Smith?
Mystic, you want to weigh in on that one?
Mystic is scarfing down spaghetti.
All right.
Nattery spilled the sauce.
His sauces. He brought his sauces today.
Man, I'm sorry, guys. It's one of those crazy episodes where I'm running over doing 20 things in my house. Now I'm finally sitting down where I don't got to move or anything. So I'm back now. I'll be here.
All right. So the question to you, what was presented to you, Mystic, is do you think now that the Jets have traded for Geno Smith, do you think they draft a quarterback? Let's say Ty Simpson is there at their draft pick. Do
Why
you
not?
think they pull the trigger?
I think why not? You don't bring Geno in to say Geno's your guy. You bring Geno in to set the standard in your room for what you want the guy that you're going to bring in to be. He is going to be the veteran mentor to a young rookie quarterback. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all because the career that Geno's had, he can teach that kid some young NFL lessons at an early stage and maybe save him some shortcomings if the kid, listens and takes in those teachings, right? So
Absolutely.
I don't think it's a bad move at all.
It's interesting. I wouldn't be. I don't know if I'm a Jets fan. I kind of would hate it with a first round pick, and you're not getting the for sure thing. You know what I mean? But
I don't think it's going to be this year, though. Ultimately, I think the Geno move was to give them a guy for this season. I think New York wants the worst possible outcome based on the picks they have next year. I think they're going to try to throw and hit a quarterback next year for sure.
That
absolutely.
part. The problem is, and the thing that I want to say that's what's going to happen, but it's the Jets, and it always gives you pause. And that's not even trying to be a Dolphins fan, just talking shit about the Jets. I'm not trying to do that, and I don't want people to take it that way. But they have, much like us, made some really bad decisions over the course of history. But they have so many first-round picks, too. They have 2 first-round picks this year and 3 next year? Or is it 3 and 2? 1, 2. So they have 3. Yeah, they're going to take a quarterback next year. I don't think they're going to build everything up some more. They have a really young offensive line. They might go receiver. They could take Cardell Tate in the first round with the later pick. I think they could also need edge because they just traded away both their main defensive tackle and their main edge rusher over the last and corner and their main corner. They need all 3 right now. So I could also see the possibility of taking who I think they're going to take, which is Arvell Reese, and then at number 2, and then double back and see if Peter Woods somehow fell, or take one of the corners that everybody's talking about, D'Angelo Pons. Who's the kid who's hurt from Tennessee? Can't think of his name for a second, but him, if he falls, because
You're not talking about Hood, are you? You're talking about the other one opposite of Hood?
Yeah, the one opposite of Hood, the one that got hurt that everybody really liked, and he's gonna get the Will Johnson stuff this year.
Yeah, we were just talking about him too. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's okay. People know who we're talking about. Like, I think they could double back and do something like that too. The Jets have so many first round picks. Like, they're gonna take stabs.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Oh man. It's going to be really interesting what happens. I kind of have a good idea of what the top 5 picks are going to be. 5 through 10 is going to be a race though. So, but you guys will have to wait till the next episode to watch. So we will break down. We have a plethora of shows planned. We're going to be breaking down the NFL draft, mock drafts. We're going to talk about players, where they're landing. We'll talk about pro days, more about college football. What else we got going on? We have a lot going on, don't we?
We will be starting our mocks and maybe some big board stuff for the or for the draft.
Yes,
it's coming quick.
I know. I'm gonna make a can't miss list. That's what I'm gonna call it. Can't miss list, which means that you can't skip out on these guys, if you know what I mean. In fact, I recommend that you guys bring your can't miss list to the next episode, because we can talk about that. There's some players that, especially in the receiver. Oh man, I can't stop talking about the receivers. I was more impressed with receivers than I was running backs in this combine, to be honest. Jacoby Lane. Every time I watch tape on him and then watch his combine, I'm like, yeah, give me Jacoby Lane. There was a lot of guys I really liked. Speed, don't worry about speed. There's a ton of guys with speed this year. Do you guys think Carnell Tate is still going to be one of the top receivers taken off the board?
Yes, I absolutely do. I think he's rather you believe he should be or not, it's a different conversation. But from a name side of things, I think he's going to be.
I have no arguments with the matter. I just think based on what we know the dude can do, I think he's just going to be a hot commodity.
I don't know, man. For me, it's like, listen, I'm a Buckeye fan, right? I just felt like I was never like super in love with Carnell Tate. You know what I mean? Like when Emeka Egbuka, for example, when he hit the field and, you know, the guy's running around like his head's on fire, I was already sold instantly. I knew it. This was the guy. But then Carnell Tate comes on the board. Everybody is like super, you know, enthralled with him. I'm just not there. You know what I mean? I think he's good. Definitely has hands. Definitely a contested guy. But I'm not like, oh my God, this guy's the guy. You know what I mean? You know, a lot of people compare him to T. Higgins. He kind of gives me T. Higgins vibes, to be honest. He's not necessarily my absolutely top 5 wide receiver. And he's not like a bottom feeder. He's just a good, not quite mid, but just over mid, you know, kind of a guy, to be honest. That's how I see him.
He's the guy that if he's on your roster, if he's the number 1 on your roster, you're probably looking to draft the number 2 or number 1. Sorry.
Yeah, probably. I would say he's definitely a good number 2 for sure.
Yeah, he needs a tag team partner. Like if he's getting shadowed by the number 1 corner and getting shaded by their best free safety,
Mhm.
he's gonna have to really show out in them one-on-ones, and I think even that he's inconsistent about.
Yep. Yep. I mean, there's other guys that I think that are like have amazing hands, crisp route running, can still do what Carnell Tate does. That I think may be a better option or more valuable pick. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm excited for this draft. I'm excited to see where teams go. I want to see where some of these top names that we've talked about go. We already know where Mendoza's going. And if that doesn't happen, that will be the biggest blunder ever in Raiders history. Even worse than taking what's his name in the first
Marcus
round.
Russell.
Yeah, even worse than
Marcus
that.
Russell.
If you don't take Mendoza, that would be even worse than taking DeMarcus Russell like you did how many years ago? Gonna be honest. Because out of all these quarterbacks, he's the only one that you can say is a can't miss kind of guy. That's where I'm at. Yeah. Any final words, man? It's been a good show. It's kind of a short but good one. Any other final thoughts?
Nope.
No, I'm good.
All right, man. So the next episode, hopefully Mystic's not cooking or spilled the sauce, unless he has sauce on something, and then I want to know about it. But make sure you guys hit the like button, turn on the notification bell. I appreciate all of you. Make sure you follow us on 4th and 10U. A lot more to come. I know it's the boring off season, but there's a lot of episodes we have planned out, and I can't wait to share with you guys. But till next time, we'll see you then.